The world is a bit upside down, or the world is challenging, or it's volatile, but that exactly is our function. So our industry has the function to mitigate risk, to be a kind of a safeguard for these times.
ICISA now covers 15% of global trade, and as your members are gathered here today in Vienna in record numbers.
15% of world trade is basically covered by us. The relevance is much higher, but the knowledge about us is not so high.
I'm Dipesh Patel, editor at Trade Treasury Payments. Today we're in Vienna, Austria at ICISA's annual general meeting celebrating 100 years. And to discuss that, we're joined by President of ICISA, Jan Müller, who's also Managing Director for Credit Surety and the Political Risk Division at Hannover Re. Jan, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dipesh.
Thank you. So Jan, quick introduction. Who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Well, I'm a German guy living in Hanover, doing that business now for 36 years, all the time with Hannover Re. It's my first job, pretty unusual for today, but I basically grew up with that business. I'm a kid of the industry, I would call it.
Excellent. Well, you're a kid of the industry, but you've seen it go through lots and lots. And ICISA now covers 15% of global trade. And as your members are gathered here today in Vienna in record numbers, what's the top priority item that they're here to discuss?
Well, I think the world is never boring, and the world is giving us all the time challenges, but also opportunities. And broadly, as an association and also on these events here, that's what we do. We exchange about the challenges and the opportunities. I think the products we offer as an industry are basically there to accompany corporates and to basically mitigate their risk. So at the end of the day, this is something we are there for. And so we might say the world is a bit upside down, or the world is challenging, or it's volatile, but that exactly is our function. So our industry has the function to mitigate risk, to be a kind of a safeguard for these times. And so we are basically in the middle of why our industry is needed. And I think we here in Vienna, but also in all the years before, this is always the core topic. Sometimes, of course, the perception is that the world is a bit more calm. Then again, the perception is that the world is a bit rougher. But very often this is also only perception, because there's always something going on and always need for our products.
Thank you very much. And I guess going into a little bit more detail, what are the key challenges that your members are currently facing, particularly in primary insurance, reinsurance, and surety?
Probably it is perceived that the predictability is less given compared to some years and decades before. On the other side, I think predictability is something we always want to have, but as I said before, the lack of predictability also produces the need for our products. So I think the industry is pretty good in that, to adjust to these times. Nevertheless, of course, the members here are coming together to discuss the circumstances, and then we all come across these topics. I mean, every day you see news about geopolitical challenges, if not to say crisis. I think this is something which is in its accumulation a bit new, because you have many different crises. Some people call it polycrisis. Each on its own might not be immediately the biggest challenge, but if you add them all together, of course, for certain industry sectors, this is bringing challenges and question marks, and we are there to basically give the answers to that.
Yeah, so navigating the polycrisis is one key theme today. Now, ICISA turns 100 under your presidency. What's the one thing you want to have really moved by the time you have to hand over?
Well, there's probably not the one thing. That would be too easy. If it would be only one thing. I think at the end of the day, what is our function as an association? You want to support your members. You want to support the corporate organizations, because on their day-to-day, of course, they can do their job pretty well on their own. But there are things around always where I think an association has its function. We help people basically to make our industry more visible, to be more heard internationally. We try to help bigger, but mainly also smaller members to assist them with education today. We generally are an industry which is not so well known. Mm-hmm. If you put the figures together, and you mentioned 15% of world trade is basically covered by us, the relevance is much higher, but the knowledge about us is not so high. So it's our constant aim to improve that always a little bit. So that's not the one big thing I can offer you here, but I think this is something I would always try to do. What we also hear today is that clearly over years, and I now accompany the business for quite some time, what clearly has changed on ICISA's levels in the last years or decades is we are less an European organization. So you have more and more people from non-European regions. And clearly their call and their expectation is, please help us as well a bit here, because our luxury situation is that in many countries, our products are not yet known. Mm. And therefore, classically, the association can help basically to bridge some understanding questions and these kind of things from regulators to other institutions. And that's what we classically do.
Thank you very much. Well, happy 100th anniversary. That was Jan Müller, president at ICISA, talking about how the industry's changed and what we need to look forward to in the future. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you so much, Dipesh. Thank you.